It's P.NUT the General, too new of the podcast. You keep your body clean, nah? Yeah.
Being really comfortable with all of that thing. You know what you're trying to say. Do what you do, baby. Yeah, I want to congratulate. I seen to come up through the mud. You feel me?
Real.
Yeah. I'm saying, like I said, I used to be top. I'm one of the ones. When that nigga said he had a phone, his whole joke. Man, I'm looking at the screen like preach. Cause I was on the phone with him. You feel me? So you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that he getting up there and keeping it all the way funky. He ain't what them little niggas be saying. He ain't cloud chase. He ain't capping. He ain't doing none of that. Like, he ain't trying to make himself look. You know, he letting his legacy speak. I like that shit. Like, let your legacy.
Y'all already know what it is. You heard me? It's P.NUT the General, too new of the podcast. You keep your body clean, huh? Yeah. Y'all already know it's 24/7 grind. I ain't saying it is a 24/7 grind. You heard me? But it's my guest story, so I'm gonna let him tell it. You heard me?
Whoa, this your boy Walt D from St. Thomas, Tilwall's finest, owner of Hood Apparel and Gear. What's happening? Appreciate you showing me love.
It's all good. You heard me? You want go straight into the interview, or you want to shout your people out first?
Nah, go ahead. This your show, baby. I'll get in where I fit in with you.
Uptown Tinwell, right?
Yes, sir.
Let the people that's not from New Orleans, you heard me, that's surrounding areas, you heard me, how it is coming up in Uptown New Orleans in the Tin Wall, you heard me. Is it violent, you know what I'm saying? Is it slow? Niggas tripping? From your accounts, you know what I'm saying? How is it growing up Uptown New Orleans, you heard me?
Well, during my time, it was like when everything first started, because you got to think, before the drugs really hit the city, I mean, they probably had marijuana and stuff, but before that, I was in California for 3 years. I came back, I left when I was 13, I came back when I was 16. By the time I came back, everybody who I knew growing up with, all my cousins, all my family, that's when everything changed. But during that time, it was all love. It was even though it was violence in the city, it wasn't really in our hood, like talking about it. You know, they had scats and scatters of this or that, but it wasn't really that hard down 93, 94 type life. Yeah, and you know what I'm saying? Anybody could get it in 93, 94 going through that. So like when I think I heard God rest his soul, Soldier Slim said,
if
a nigga
was born in 94,
you straight up a G, regardless of what you was doing or not. And I seen a lot of that. So it was a peaceful time, you know, and everybody had their beats. We used to ride and do certain things and stuff like that, but it wasn't never to where we couldn't just go where we wanted to go and who we wanted to do. But it was always, you know, you knew the line to draw when you go to certain places.
That's a fact. That's a fact. When you say it changed, it was different. You left for 3 years. What was your reason for moving?
Well, my mama, I grew up on 712 Josephine, born and raised in New Orleans, and like I said, until I got 13 years old. And my mama family stayed next door to my daddy's family, so they was family before I was born. It was 712, 714, 716, and 718. It was the Dillons on one side, the Carters on the other. So they was already jam tight. My grandmother decided to move, and she went to California. She wound up, you know, landing in Long Beach. And my mom, you know, being the only one left behind, she decided to go. So she took us with her. And it was a hard tear, you know, being that's all you know is the project. That's all you know is family, cousins, and whatnot. Then to go to a whole different environment that was totally different from what you was accustomed to, and then to come back home and to see, like I say, you come home and all of your partners that you grew up with shooting marbles and playing googie within the front court. Now y'all kind of like enemies because of this new craft that then came into the city, that then came into the hood. And now everything is sides. You still attend war, but they got cliques now, and they got groups, and they got this and they got that. So you just had to know your spot. And me being, not to try to throw my last name around like it means something now, but back then being a Dillon, you knew something, you had something, you was like a cut above the rest, regardless whether it was money or just a big family background setting. So you had to kind of fill that void. You had to walk in that. You couldn't just sit on the sidelines forever. You just had, at some point, you had to pick up the mantle and get in where you fit in.
They was gonna throw you in. You didn't pick it up. They was gonna throw you in. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. You're gonna sink in this, like sink or swim. Like you ready for this? If you're not ready for this, we're about to see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You heard me. So, what all are you involved in entertainment wise?
Entertainment wise, I do have a podcast, but because I'm like doing a transitional moving spot. I broke everything down. I really just got it set up. You the first person that got me on here to see, tweaking the bells and everything. So I appreciate you keeping me focused and keeping me sharp, staying on, because I probably would have just been sitting throughout, just like making final adjustments. But it seemed like everything working good so far, so good. So I appreciate that. But as far as entertainment, it's mainly just I sell clothes. Hood Apparel and Gear is a brand that originated in New Orleans. That was my focal point for starting it. I had a lot of pushback because nobody understood what it was going for and what it meant. So when I would tell them about Hood Apparel, nobody wasn't really pushing the clothing line back then. I think the only person that was really doing something, big shout out to my boy Buck, DJ Buck from New Orleans, Tin Wall Buck. Yeah, Tin Wall Buck had these project shirts. And he was going around selling the shirts, and it kind of sparked the interest because I'm like, you know what? I could do better. Not trying to cap like I could do better than him, but I'm just like, I got a bigger vision in my mind of what he's doing. I could do something. I could do this. I could do that. And I wind up taking pictures of the project with a little box camera, man. And then I would take them pictures and get them developed. Then I found a way to get them transferred on the T-shirts, and I would just ride around, and just sell those T-shirts for $25, and it took off. It blew because it was more like some of the cats say it's nostalgia. It's like something to remember the hood by, because they started tearing the project down.
Yeah.
So I got 24 by 36 pictures of the projects before they tore them down that I want to bring back to the city, that I could try to put into banks, into local mom and pop shops down there, just to show that what we had is not forgotten. We've been displaced not so much by Katrina, but just by gentrification as well.
That's a fact.
So the hood ain't the hood like it used to be, but it's something new to me now. Even when I came home, I was like, man, I ain't never seen this many people on Magazine Street that's not of our kind. But it was like Canal Street, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But that's just how it is, and we don't want to lose out on parts of our heritage and our neighborhoods as well. So we got to kind of think about grabbing hold of real estate as well, so we don't get so easily moved, and then the rates and everything go up, and we still stuck at the bottom of it. But as far as entertainment, yes, it's just like selling clothes, trying to capitalize on a podcast. I'm thinking about doing music, but I know my family, they had the Mob Figure records back in the day. I don't know if we could get that back going, but it's just some type of entertainment, as far as just right now, it's just clothes. And that's all I'm focused on right now, just pushing my brand.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Was entertainment always part of the plan? Because you come from uptown, rough area, you know what I'm saying? And then you jump into the entertainment, things like that. From coming from that background, how exactly did you get introduced to entertainment?
Just actually following DJ Jubilee, doing the DJs. Give a shout out to DJ Jubilee, carrying crates, helping them set up the equipment, just going back and forth. Back in the day, before it was just DJ Jubilee, we used to have this DJ group called the Fellas, and it was all of them. It was the whole group of guys, and they just went around and they would have mixing contests down in the Redemption Gym. It was all love back then. They had different crews that everybody had equipment. They would get in there and they would do their thing. So the entertainment part of it just came from just growing up, kind of not being famous, but just being hood famous. You was always in the limelight some type of way, whether it was for for being a D-boy or just being your family last name carried you into a little bit of a spotlight or whatever it was. So I always felt like I was somebody special in the city at any point given time. Even when some of the local rappers like Juvenile or BG, you would see them in the Magnolia. I would see Juvenile. We would have conversations and talk, and like, man, I like that truck. Whoa, they're like, yeah, it's a little something. Like, yeah, you got the Momos on. I'm like, yeah, you tore the yarn daddy, huh? Like, yeah, so we kind of was always on a level with cats as they was blowing up, but they still looked up to us. They still kind of had like a respect for us. Not that we was bigger or better, but they just knew something about you and they respected that, and you knew something about them and you respected that, and we just moved freely throughout the city like that. It was like I say, it was love, man. It was nice.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Other than DJ Jubilee, shout out, you know what I'm saying? What other artists influenced you or did you listen to before you jumped in the clothing and the entertainment
I was Cash Money, the whole Cash Money group coming up back then. It more like all of the Big Boy Records group, Mama Mia, the whole No Limit posse. That was because that's all we knew at one point was just that. Now, although I spent some time in California and got well around it with other types of music, none of that didn't influence me as far as trying to grind or hustle or stay honed in on my culture or what I wanted. So it was just like all the local rappers, all of the local entertainers that were out during that time. That's what kind of pushed me into it, just like wanting to do something or create something. And my mind would always think about rap or always do rap. I was like one of them kids that always write jingles and have rhymes ready to go. I just never lost the knack for it. So now, after a while, you're like, what am I going to do with that? It never goes away. So I said, I might as well try to do something with it. But just every aspect of every rapper that ever picked up a mic, T.T. Tucker, the whole everything that we grew up on was like that was influenced then is like pushed me to just go forward now, because they're like godfathers of bounce now, and back then we kind of joked that we didn't take it as serious. We thought it was just a thing, but it worked for us. And it blew up. So I take that same comparison. Like, hey, it might have sounded funny in the beginning, or the shirts might have looked a little weird in the beginning, but now as they just kept pushing through, they like entities in the city now. And that's where I want to be.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So in your opinion, Big Dog, you heard me? You mentioned the artists that you listened to and grooved to before you started, right? Could you speak on the differences in the music from the artists of yesterday and the artists today, in your opinion?
In my opinion, what I look at now is the context and the content for the artists that are out today. Some of them, and I ain't talking about the mumbling side of it, but I'm just saying some of the rap that I listen to, I can relate to, being from home, listening to Fiend, The Streets Ain't Safe No More. I could be gone. You knew that. That's to be true. Now the bling bling side of that, I live that. That's true.
Yeah,
that's part of our coming up. But the new rap, I rock with them, but some of the stuff I just don't relate to. I know it's a big old Drake, Kendrick Lamar. I'm not a Drake fan, and I don't want to get beat up behind it. I don't want to get shot at behind it. I spent some time in Compton, so those years in California, 807 North Culver. I was in the heart of Treetop Piru neighborhood, so I know a little bit about Compton. I went to Compton High. I spent some time out there. I understood the culture, understood the gangs, the colors, the whole 9 yards. I like, the East Coast music. I like the West Coast music. I can relate to some of the, like, Too Short, the Kendrick Lamar thing. I don't know where I'm at with it, because I never really paid attention to him until the Super Bowl thing came up, and
Yeah.
They Not Like Us, stuff like that. So it just depends on the music. Sometimes the music will catch me more than the lyrics, and sometimes the lyrics will catch me more than the music. But because I'm from New Orleans, I favor what I grew up listening to and what really resonates with me. But they do have other artists that are peak mans. We went to our Jay-Z phase, the rock group. We went through their phase when it was just, Benny Siegel and the whole 9 yards with them. So that was the G Time, the Pauline, the Ballin, but Cash Money had that same aspect as well.
Yeah.
So they got us through that, but in our own way and in our own language. So I'm for rap in general, but there's some stuff you don't understand, and some stuff they're talking about is like it go over my head because I ain't thinking. I'm a musically inclined. Like, I like that beat. That I catch the beat before I will really catch what you're saying. The beat catch me, then I come back and listen to it and pay attention to you again and again and again.
That's a fact. So when you started slinging the shirts, right? Was that just a hobby? You know what I'm saying? You said you was influenced by Jubilee and a couple of other people who was doing it before you. You heard me? Was that just a hobby? Was it always the plan for it to be as it is now? You know what I'm saying? As so with the entertainment, like with the podcast and all of this, you heard me? Did you knew you was gonna be involved in entertainment from coming up around all these people, or did it just kind of fall in your lap?
It kind of fell in my lap. I didn't think it was, because back then it wasn't really podcasters that I knew of. Nobody wasn't really sitting in front of the microphone except for DJs and stuff like that. So when I started selling the shirts, did I think I was gonna go further with it? Yeah, but how? I didn't have an idea, because when I started Hood Apparel, it was hood tested, ghetto approved. And the hood stands for helping our own develop. Ghetto stands for getting a higher education to take care of ourselves. But before that, hood was just Hood Apparel. It was me putting the St. Thomas on a t-shirt and selling it. I didn't have it broken down. After I started doing it and I started thinking, well, how is this going to, somebody gonna be like, hey, because when they see hood, they think gangster, they think, guns, toting, weed smoking, and I have to break it down to them. And when I say ghetto, they think ratchet, just loud and common. And I was like, no, I had to make it mean something. But when I first had ghetto, it stood for getting high and take them out. That's when I was walking the streets of St. Thomas. So I was like, yeah, I had a little rap like, it's time to get ghetto, get high and taking, that was that realm. But when I came out of that setting, my mind was a little freer, leaving New Orleans, going to San Antonio. It was real slow. It was real slow. New Orleans, fast paced, hustle, go. San Antonio, real laid back. So I had the chance to try to go to the hoods out there, but they wasn't like ours. Not to take away, any of what they do or their reputation. It just wasn't built like ours. But crime was crime, sin is sin. And I would try to find it. It just wasn't there for me. It wasn't out here for me. So I just had to stop looking. And that's how the Lord just kind of steered me away from that. But going back to the entertainment part of it, I was always just trying to find a way to enhance my mind about business and clothes. And I would go to these places and just shop around until I found what I was looking for. And once I got the concept, once I got the logo and I stuck with it, I just ran with it and I put it on anything I could find, man. I got carpets, rugs, hoodies, whatever I could get my hands on. And sometimes people will laugh at you because I'm kind of like from the old school where you had the oversized logos, like the big pellet pail and the tall canine patches, big FUBU. Because that was all I could understand. So I just did what I know until I get refined and I can break it down and try to get like a signature collection and something like that that I'm working on now, a female collection that I'm working on now. So, but yeah, I still could fit anybody into anything that we could get our hands on. But it's just a process of growth and learning and knowing yourself. but I didn't think I was gonna be where I'm at now. I kind of had an idea that I wanted to be something, or I wanted to do something in it. Like my first shirt that I made, it was called Omni from Goody Mob, 1 million, Negroes inside. And I went to the shirt place and I gave him my $30 for my artwork. And I told him what I want. I wanted a shirt, but I wanted all of these fists pushing out of the shirt because it was like I want all the black brothers out of the struggle coming out of the shirt. So I wanted all these knuckle prints pushing out of the shirt. Man, I went back in like 2 weeks. The place had closed down. And they was gone. They took my money.
They kept your money?
Yeah, they took my little $30 and my idea, man.
Damn.
So fast forward, I'm in San Antonio and I'm online, and they had this thing where you could raise money to help clean up the levees by the beach, by the lake.
Yeah.
So I started talking to this company, and I came up with an idea. Now, have you ever seen Mayor Nagin with that shirt say Desire on it during Hurricane Katrina, a white T-shirt, and it had Desire?
He had it on when he was being interviewed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's your shit?
That was my design. That was all me from that point that wore a shirt that had the street sign on. That was me. That was me 100%.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
What they did is I told her I had a pitch. I was like, hey, if you give me a T-shirt, I could put all the names of the projects on the front. We could sell those in certain areas, and we can try to get paid. I mean, I had it all mapped out, man. I had it all mapped out. I had Slip Park involved. I had the whole tour bus companies involved. I knew where the seller shirts at. I knew everything I needed. It was right there, but for some reason they got down to underline after they got all the they gave to some
That's a fact. That's a fact too. At what point in time did you notice that you really had some clothing line? You was really elevating. Uh-oh.
You breaking up a little bit.
You back? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Start again.
At what point did you realize that you were starting to elevate and really could take this clothing thing to the next level? And what was your next move after that?
What made me realize it is we was going through COVID. COVID hit and it kind of had us sitting inside for a few minutes. But before that, I was actually just selling T-shirts. I would just sell a lot of T-shirts with my logo on there. The logo that you probably see is not the logo that I started with. I had a line going through the H and the A. I don't have anything up here to show for it now, and I don't want to run off camera to grab stuff and be unprofessional. But
you good, you good.
Yeah, but it was just me just constantly believing in myself. When everybody would say, "Oh, nah, man, hood apparel don't sound good. You might want to change it to chocolate laundry. You might want to change it to this. You might want to change it to that." And I was like, "Nah, hood apparel is what it is." That resonated and it spoke volumes for what I was looking at because I wanted to help our own develop. And people don't understand when I say help our own develop is like getting somebody who don't know nothing about clothes and giving them an idea, helping them build the logo, showing them the steps on how to get the LLC, showing them the steps on how to get the bank account, showing them the steps on how to set up the website, showing them the steps on how to order and put their stuff online and then push the button and watch them make money. And I did that. I did that with a guy, and I started Black Sheep. Black Sheep Apparel was my second brand, but because I wanted to show what I'm about, I had to put, my money where my mouth was. Instead of me dangling the carrot in front of his face saying, do this, do that. I'm going to give you this brand to show you how easy it is to start a brand. Not like it's easy like cake. I'm just saying how easy the back end is to do the leg work. Now, the hustling part is going to be on you. The marketing part probably going to be on you as well. depending on how you see yourself. But for me, it was just a constant push. So now I got celebrities wearing it. I got a few endorsements from Chris Bird. He's a heavyweight champion. He's a boxer. I got Miguel Nunez, the guy Jingaling from Life. He wears my clothes. A couple of promoters and a lot of the celebrities and officials in San Antonio, they all rock with me.
You say a lot of people gave you constructive criticism. The name, you know what I'm saying, the way you was doing it, how you was doing it, right? What made you stick to your guns? You know what I'm saying? What made you, you know, you knew what you had a plan and you stuck with it, you know what I'm saying, no matter what everybody was saying. What made you stick to your guns? You hear me?
It's just a knowing. Sometimes it's just a burning inside of you that you have an idea. And I tell it to people all the time, you will know way more. I tell it to my son and my daughter. I was like, we know what's good for you to a certain extent. I say, but you will know deep down inside, despite what anybody say, what you want to do with your life. Whether you want to go to the military, whether you want to go boxing, whether you want to find a career job, whether you want to go to school. I say, you're going to know. We might not understand. I say, but if you know and you sure about it, that's what you do. So for me, because nobody gave it to me. It came to me. I got it my own self. And I walked through the project and I took the pictures and the concepts came to my mind. Oh, put this on the shirt. Oh, put that on the shirt. Put this building on the shirt. Put that building on the shirt. And because it was my vision, and it came to me. So it's like cooking gumbo or cooking anything. Nobody really not gonna know how it tastes until you finish, until you run the course. You see what I'm saying? They be like, man, you putting all that stuff in there, and I'm like, let me cook. This is, you know, and that's how people like, man, you spending $75 on these shirts. You ain't even gonna get no money for it. Like let me cook, and I just kept on pushing because they don't know, and it's not that I never looked at them as haters because they never said nothing bad. They just didn't know outside of what I had inside of me. It's like with your podcast. Somebody say, "Oh, you trying to do a podcast? Come on, man! Ain't nobody doing that down there. Come on, man! You could do something else, man."
Fact.
And you be like, you know what? This what I'm gonna do. Like, man, who gonna be watching? Who gonna, you know? And they gonna, you know, and they are nonchalantly they'll talk you out of it only because they don't have that vision. It ain't that they hate; they just don't know.
Yet they can't understand it yet.
Yeah, they don't have to understand. They don't see the finished product. And that's with anything, you know. Noah was building the ark. Nobody understood what he was doing until
they thought he was tripping.
done. Yeah, they thought he was crazy. But when it was done, then it's like, oh wow, yeah. So it's just long as you know, and that's all I had, man. I just had a knowing that I'm gonna stick with this label, I'm gonna stick with this logo, and I'm just gonna run with it. Balls to the wall, you know, till the wheels fall off. Not gonna look back, not gonna take no for an answer. And I just, you know, I really fought, you know, and I don't mean like physically, but just spiritually. I fought to maintain it. Like, you know what? Ain't nobody. Some people help, then some people don't want help. Some people help to say they help. Some people help to say I'm just gonna get it to them to see what's gonna happen, you know, blah blah blah. But you know, I had to go through all of those realms of I need this, I need that, invest in this, and invest in that. And some people came through in the clutch, some people didn't. You just gotta keep pushing and be like, you know what, it's mine, it's my desire, it's my gift. So I gotta work it, I gotta push it. Yeah, you gonna always need help. You know, you can't do it all by yourself, but if you take one step at a time and you give it your all, somebody along the way gonna be like, you know what, I've been watching that dude, he been doing this all this time, he ain't never stopped. He's still going, you know, we laughed at him at one time. Now he got this. We talked about his outfits, but now he got that, and that looked nice. That everybody wearing that one. So you just got to believe in yourself, man, first and foremost. Because if you don't believe in yourself, the They do have supporters that would say, baby, I see something in you. And sometimes they do have people that come along in your life and say, you know what? I see something in you. I'm gonna help you. But for the most part, if you gotta be that main person to say, you know what, I gotta do it by myself until the going gets good.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You mentioned the gumbo pot moments ago, right? Give
Yeah.
us, you ain't gotta give us the sauce, give us some of the seasoning, right? Not only a clothing line, right? Building a successful brand. You hear me? Give us the ingredients, put them ingredients in that gumbo pot for you hear me? What all goes into building and maintaining a successful brand, you hear me?
What I would tell anybody that's getting ready to start a brand, if you have your logo, or if you just have the name, you might not have the logo. You might not be that advanced. You might just say, you know what, I want to start this logo, or I want this thing. What you do is you go downtown to your city hall, and in San Antonio is this place is connected to the marriage license place. So I don't know how it is in the city, but you'll go down there with your name that you desire to use, and you tell them, hey, I want to do a DBA. I want to go and do business as such and such. And they're gonna say, well, let's put such and such into the computer in this city to see if anybody else using it. And you would type it in the computer and they come back clear. Nobody ain't using that such and such. So you take such and such and you pay them $30, maybe $40 or whatever their fee is. They're gonna put Walter Dillon DBA as such and such. He take that. Once you get that paper, they're gonna print it out. They're gonna file that in the city records for 10 years. So for 10 years, you are known, you doing business as such and such. So now you take that piece of paper and you walk into any bank and say, hey, I want to open up a business account. And when I open up the business account, I want to do business as this such and such right here. If you got a job, if you're already working and you got a job and you got a checking account, what you do is you take your job check and you do a direct deposit into that DBA, into that business account. So every week you get paid, that's going into your business. It don't matter what it is. It just shows that your business is making something every month, every week, every month. So whether you spend it or not, it's being directly deposited. So in 3 months' time, they'll say, "Oh, Walter Dillon, that's such and such. His business making like $3,000 a month." You can actually go and say, "Hey, can I get a line of credit based on what's been coming into my account? Can I get a business loan based off what's coming into my account?" That's just that part. If you want to do an LLC, you can go to I think it's irs.gov and get a tax ID number. It's free. Get an EIN number. That's going to be your birth certificate for your business. That's going to be the birth certificate for your business. That's that birth certificate number saying, hey, this is my doing business birth certificate number. And you can keep that on file, keep that in your paperwork. So when you go to your I call it a comptroller. They're going to give you
you call it a what?
A comptroller. Like it's a place that collect tax. Out here they call it a tax comptroller, a comptroller's office. With your business, once you sign up for it, it's like your tax sale permit, if I'm saying it correctly.
Tax sale?
When you're getting ready to sell something, you have to get a permit from the city to sell. If you're doing it legal, you can hustle and do your thing. But if you just go and get your sales tax permit, then they'll give you that sales tax permit. And every 3 months, you got to say you either made money or you didn't. And it'll come up every 3 months. They'll send you an email or a letter saying, hey, how much did you make this month? How much you made this month? But it's going to be 3 month increments. And you file that and that will be out of the way. So do your DBA, get your EIN, and go get your sales tax permit. Those 3 things could get you back of the house solidified as a business. The next thing you'll do is work on your logo because you want to get it trademarked and copyrighted. So you'll figure out how to do. I went through LegalZoom, but there's a lot of different places out there where you can go through. So that'll be some research you'll have to do. But I'm just saying, I went through LegalZoom and I paid about $600, I think maybe $7 at the max with all the little fees of filing. And they ran my stuff through the system and it came back good. And that was my logo. And that was pretty much it. And after you get that, you're actually in business. All you want to do now is start creating content with your clothes, t-shirts, bandanas, towels, handbags, whatever you can get it on, whether you're doing vinyl, whether you're finding you a t-shirt shop somewhere in the city and get your logo digitized to where they can take a copy of it and put it in their computer and run it, and you can, whether it be vinyl, whether it be DTF or I forgot, screen printed, however you want to go with it. You just keep changing. You just keep changing your gear, keep changing your shirts. When I started, when I first launched, I had at least 30 days worth of clothes. I could wear one outfit every day for 30 days. And that was my flex. That was my I made it moment when I could put on something that a manufacturer made for me from scratch, cut and sewed and got it all together and sent it to me. I had, and that was I did like a 30-day run, just every day on Facebook, every day on Instagram, showing, hey, this day number 3, this day number 4. This day number 5, and it got to that 30-day thing. And I like, man, that's an accomplishment for me, thinking, coming from the tent wall, coming from St. Thomas, coming from the hood. Now I got a full brand clothing line that even, and you send clothes to family, you give clothes away. It's an upside to it and it's a downside to it. It just depends on how far you want to go. Some people could just open the gates and people flock into it. For me, because I'm old school, I give a little bit to somebody, and then I sell a little bit over here. Show a little love to this one because he's in this position. His group gonna come run behind him like, where you get that from? Oh, your boy over there got him. Yeah, woo, woo, woo. And that's how I got the following. And certain people will call me and say, hey, I like what I see. Can you be in the Martin Luther King parade? Can you set up a booth at this function? Can you do this? Can you do that? Do you want to be on TV with sports with the kids in the neighborhood, the football teams, the high schools? Do you want to be a part of the March Madness that's coming up? So all of those doors just started opening up for me, and you just do it like one step at a time.
Hell yeah. That's a lot of gems. When you started, you said you watched the ones before you been in the game, the ups and downs, things like that. In your opinion, right, for all of the young and up and coming, not only clothing lines but brands, right? What's the biggest misconception that these, I guess, newcomers have to the game? What's the biggest thing that they don't understand about business?
I would say, and I wouldn't even say business. It's just it's loyalty and respect and everything. And I see the younger generation. Whether we collectively as a community let them down, or just mom and dad, whatever the case is, the new cats, they don't really have that respect for life, for family. I mean, they care about their boys and stuff like that, and they do ride for each other. But I'm just saying, I think if we could get back to having a group of just instilling loyalty in some type of constructive, leadership into the young cats, then I mean, now when you look at the music side of it, yeah, the young guys they making money hand over fist, but they wilding with it. They
Yeah,
all over the place. And I'm just concerned that I feel like we let them down, and I say we because I'm part. I'm like I just turned 52 on the 26th, so I'm part of that old head group that if I still would have been in New Orleans, would I have still been, trying to thug, or would I have settled down to have the mind that I have now? I can't say because I'm not there. But now that I'm here, I look back and I was like, man, I see a lot of the YNs out here, and I just try to talk to them like, hey, man, look, I know y'all don't know me from a can of paint. Y'all see me as all y'all know me as is hood. Nobody don't know me about being from the 10 wall. Nobody don't know me about being from St. Thomas unless they just know who I am or they know who my family is, and then they kind of roll at me a little bit different. Like, yeah, man, I remember, we used to hear stories about y'all. You heard a story about my family. not
yeah,
necessarily about me, but I was out there to a certain extent, but not like the lits of others. But I'm just saying, I just wish we could get them to understand the basic values of life, because just looking at what I see in the streets now, like, man, I don't know. I don't know if I could deal with coming home sometimes the way things go. My nerves too bad, man. And then, and I'm a nice guy, and I want to be like, hey, what's up, little daddy? What's up? They might like, who
yeah,
this guy think he is talking to me? I don't know him. It's different. It's no respect.
yeah, hell yeah, hell
There's no
yeah.
loyalty. Like, oh, you used to do this. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, we know that, but man, come on, let's find an area of peace. This a moment of silence where we could just kind of help yourself. I ain't knocking what you're doing because I did it back then. But now that I know better, let me see if I can put you on to something else. Let me see if I can put you onto a business plan and see if you use that same tenacity that you're using right now on the streets. Let's put that same energy behind a business or something. And it don't gotta be a car wash, it ain't gotta be a food truck, but it could just be a business. You could be consular, you can be whatever you want to be, but if ain't nobody giving you those ideas, you'll never know.
That's a fact. But my take on that, OG, is that ain't your fault. I'll be 40 this year. I'll be 40
Yeah,
in me. You know what I'm saying? That ain't my fault. It was different when we came up. We came up
exactly.
right under the OGs. You see what I'm saying? Like we
Yeah,
watched them, they watched us, they showed us, right? These little dudes ain't come up under us. Katrina spread these YNs out all across America, right?
yeah,
Most of them ain't had no daddy, you heard me, and they raised themselves, you know what I'm saying? We was raised off morals, principles,
yeah. We had
standing
a
on
code
business.
about ourselves
Yeah,
for
it was
everything.
different. Them dudes ain't had it. They kind of like learned like the blind leading the blind. You know what I'm
That's
saying? They got in
yeah,
them places and they came together because that's all they knew. But at the same time, we had y'all. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have us. So like the mamas couldn't tell them nothing. So it's no respect at home. It starts at home. You see what I'm saying?
exactly.
So when they come back, you heard me, and now they grown now, you know what I'm saying? They're not giving a fuck about what we done, what we done been through, or
None
the
of
things
that.
that we paid. But that's not our fault because they didn't come up under us. You know what I'm saying? So
I
I just want
appreciate
to tell
that.
you that
Yeah,
you did your job. You know what I'm saying? Katrina did that. You see what I'm saying? Had it been like continuous, like if we came up and no scattering, it wouldn't be like this. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying? We had no control over that because when they came back, it was already 16, 17,
yeah. They was
grown
already
men.
on.
Yeah, it was already
Already
on.
on.
So that's all on them. OG, you heard me? They
I
raised
feel
they
you.
so. Yeah, man. All you gotta do is pray for them. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying, with the clothing line, right? You took
Yeah.
off with it. You see what I'm saying? Out of what have you learned about the clothing game along the way? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it a competitive field? Is it like the music field, like kind of like the crab in the bucket mentality? Is it gatekeepers, niggas be hating? You know what I'm saying? What have you learned from this fashion shit?
It's all of that because it's a cultural is our culture. We gonna always have that in our culture, no matter if you got a car wash and you open another car wash or whatever. For me, because I was like, I'm not from San Antonio, but I've been here long enough to say, you know, I got an anchor out here. So, but I was still unknown because I just kind of like did everything. I wasn't really no upfront out in the open person. But when I started my clothing line, they had a lot of other clothing lines that was out that I didn't know about. So when I actually hit the ground running, I kind of like zoomed by everybody, and I started noticing the trends that the clothes that I had they didn't have, the styles that I had they didn't have. Nobody really hated that. To me, at first, it was just like, okay, we gonna see this cat. But then I started doing podcasts, and you know, people start wearing me and this and that, and you kind of could start feeling a little pushback from the other brands. Like if y'all at the same venue or something like
Oh
that, you
yeah,
know,
oh yeah.
they see the table is heavy, and they table might not be as heavy. And when I mean heavy, I got
The
a
motion.
yeah, I got it all. Is you know, people in line and they moving and they come and get the famous people who they probably want. They right here. So I started this thing. I'm everywhere y'all want to be, and I mean, but what I was doing, I never went at no other brand. I would always, when I do my podcast, I would promote every brand that I knew that I could remember. I would give them a shout out, show them love, help them load, help them unload if they needed equipment, give them equipment, because I know how it is to be out there. Now, do they have some brands that I admire way better than myself? Yeah, we got a cat out here, MDM High Standard. He got a real nice, sweet line, man. Military veteran, you know. I really look up to his brand. He got a real tight shift with it. He real structured. You know, the military background, attention to detail. He nice with it. Nothing negative to say about his brand. He just Gucci with it. But when I don't compare myself to it, I don't put myself down, I don't put myself above. I just work alongside and just watch him do his thing. And he got some nice stuff. I like the way he do his videos and stuff like that. I'm not all that tech savvy, so my stuff be a little shoddy. But you know, I've learned to stay, because I stay in my lane. And when I stay in my lane, meaning when I see him do something, I don't go try to do it. When I see another brand do something, I don't go try to do it. When I see somebody come out with something like that, I don't go try to incorporate that into my brand. I'm like, nah, if that's your niche and that's your thing, I ain't gonna compromise my dignity and try to bite off your move. I just let you run with it. And then when my time comes to do stuff, then I'll do my own little thing. But I ain't gonna try to bite steal something from you. I just, if you're something, like one guy had a nice little chenille, or I forgot what you call it, cashmere sweater. As much as I wear this dude's sweater, you think it's mine. You think it's my brand. We love the dude. He got a nice cashmere. I'm like, man, I just wish I could get in on that. He's like, man, just let me know we can do something. I'm like, you know what? Because it's you and that's your thing, I don't want to mess with it like that. You know what I'm saying? I want to let him stay in that lane and just give him the homage because he started that, and I want him to run with it. So yeah, man, big shout out to Summer Set Apart for that luxury debonair sweater, man. He on top of it with it. But all of the brands out here, man. We got Black Sheep, we got MDM High Standard, we got Escaping the Cycle. We got, I think it's the Playhouse. I think that's all I can remember right now. Street Legend, that's a big record company, but they got shoes and stuff like that. So it's a lot of different little smaller groups, but man, it's so many people out here that we don't have to fight each other for recognition or space. If I have a venue and I think I ain't cut out for it, I'll be like, you know what? Hey man, why don't you try to go do this here right quick? I think you'll fit in better than me. You know, this is upscale. You know, you might fare out better than me. And I get invited to some big ticket places, and we do okay. But sometimes I'd be like, man, I wish I'd have called your boy. I wish I'd have had your girl over here. She'd have been right on money with that. So you just gotta. It just depends on how you feel about your comrades. If you think it's all about you, then you be that way. And there's nothing wrong with taking the ball and running with it. But sometimes you just look back and say, hey, this one's for you, big dog, and see how far it go.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You speak of success, you know what I'm saying? And I salute you from where you came from, what you grew, and what you grew to. You see what I'm saying? But I know it ain't happened overnight, right? Take us through some of the the bad times, you know what I'm saying? The times when you ain't know you wanted to keep doing this or not, you know what I'm saying? What obstacles have you overcome on your way to building this successful brand? You hear me?
For me, my first obstacle was actually just myself. I had to really want it. Even though I had the idea, I had to want it for myself. I had to make sure that that's what I wanted to do. And then once I got that concept, the hurdles was actually you're always going to be your biggest hurdle. Most people don't realize that, but you're like, man, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Nah, I ain't gonna do it today. Nah, I'm too tired. Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna catch up. We'll always have those different ideas of when we could do it, but once you realize that it's go for you, you're gonna run. My hurdles personally was just listening to other people or listening to what family will say or worrying about what family will think, because you family oriented. You come from a big family, you want the input. You got cousins, brothers, sisters, all stairwell from young to old. So you got a whole group of people that are gonna give you input, but not everybody is privy to what God give you for you to go and do what you got to do. So whether you try to explain it to them or not, it's not gonna benefit them. They're gonna be like, "He's crazy, man. He talking about selling jackets in New Orleans. It's summertime."
the kid, man. See, I can't understand it. I can't understand it though. But was there any times where you wanted to give it up? Did it ever? Does it ever get too much for you? You know what I'm saying? With the podcast, with the clothing line, with life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does get overwhelming, especially when you're doing it and you're doing it by yourself. And what I mean by yourself is that you're dreaming this up, you're thinking this up, and you're trying to like still be relevant to your wife and your kids, but still trying to be true to yourself or with your gift and your dream, and still trying to make sure you meet deadlines for this and for that. And sometimes you got to curb a deadline over here just to make sure that there's food on the table or gas in the car or this or that.
Rob Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, and that's just the thing. Some people don't understand when you're all out on business, and it creates a lot of fights. It creates a lot of separation when you have it and deep down in your heart, if I just get this one break, it's gonna boom and I'll be good. But most people like, nah, I can't give it to you. I can't help you right now because I don't want to see you do it. So I ain't doing it. So it's always gonna be that fight and be like, man, you know what, man, just forget about it. Forget about her. I've done that in my mind so many times, like, man, forget about it, man. I'm just gonna trash the company. Just don't do nothing to it no more. Don't make no more clothes. Whatever I got, stash. Just give it away or just wear it out till that's it and just let it go. But even when I think that, even when I get to that thing, it's just a burning on the inside. I was like, but did I tell you to give it up? Like, and that's like, no. Like, did they give it to you? Like, no. How they gonna tell you, how they gonna make you feel like that's not right for you? But you can support them in their endeavors and stuff like that. So it's like, you just have to know. But it's gonna be some hurdles, man. But it's a lonely walk, I tell you that. If you don't know what that means, it means that you're gonna have to take that journey by yourself for success. But for me, my success is not making the money. My success is not being rich and famous with it. My success is getting up every day knowing that hood apparel and gear is in the hearts and in the minds of other people, and they still like what they see, and they still order it, and they still want to do something with you, or they still want something from you. Or when you make this latest hoodie, they like, I need 2 of those. I was just playing around, man. I kid you not. I made some Mardi Gras shirts last year, but I didn't finish them because I missed the deadline because I wasn't at home to remember when Mardi Gras was. So this year, I kind of caught wind of it, and I was like, oh, it's going to be in March. So I threw this little video online, and all my whole family just hit me on, well, we need them shirts. We need them shirts. Like, you know what? Since y'all biting on them, I'm just going to, sell them to y'all and then give y'all the rest. And that's what I did. And it was a big success for me. And I'm like, man, I ain't never, they ain't never supported me like that. But, on the whim, they came through in the clutch, and I was able to take care of them. And it was a good time, man. So, that part right there makes you say, you know what, I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right track.
That's a fact. Coming from where you've come from, you know what I'm saying? You beat the odds. But anything independent is difficult. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To keep it, to start it, and to maintain it at a successful level. A lot of people don't make it, not only in the clothing, but in independence and black businesses, cell phone businesses, right? What made you different, OG?
I ain't gonna say it made me different. I can't say what made me different. I just refuse to give up on it. I refuse to. If somebody say no, I'm not gonna help you, or no, I can't do nothing for you, or you trying to get a business loan from this company, like, well, you ain't been in business long enough, or let me see your 1090 there, let me see this, let me see that, and you show them all this stuff, and they still kind of beat around the bush. The greater the pushback for me is the greater the sling back. Like, like a rubber band. They pushing you back, but man, they gonna get tired of fighting against you. And once they let go, it's like a slingshot. You out of here. And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at in my mindset with it. Yeah, it's a lot of opposition because you got friends that may not like what you do. You got family that may not like what you do. And sometimes it be the people in your own bedroom be like, nah, I'd rather you have a job than to be trying to sell shirts and sweatpants. Where the money at? I've had to go through all of that. I know, I'm sure I had to go through that. Where the money at? Well, you doing this and this one come and get this and you doing that. But where the money at? And I'm like, man, just let me work this. Just let me work this. And then, but that's and when they are about the money, then that's all it is. They're about the money. It's okay to be about the money, but there's a substance that goes along with business, and it's loyalty, it's content. I ain't just slinging clothes like drugs where I'm just trying to get this in your hand and you go ahead for somebody to come. No, I want to have an experience with you when you buy my clothes. I want you to experience this. So, and that's really what I've been giving out. Just genuine customers come through and they buy something or they like what they see, and then they get it. So before I know offline, you just give me your size and your address, and then I'll shoot something to you, and I think you'll appreciate it. For what I do.
I'm aware too. You know what I'm saying? I'm appreciated and I'm aware. You hear me? So, I knew this was an impromptu thing, so it's late. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just want to salute you. You heard me? Where you came from, what you built. A lot of people don't do it, especially coming from uptown, from out the A-Wall. So, but my people from uptown, so especially out the 10 wall. So I know how it is up there. You heard me? You overcame a lot. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I salute you. You heard me? Before we get up out of here, tell everybody, you know what I'm saying, promote yourself, where they could get your brand at, you know what I'm saying, where they could catch your podcast at. And before we go, won't you give the upcoming either if they're thinking about getting in or if they just jumped in it, you heard me? Won't you give them some advice and some encouraging words, you heard me, from going through and getting through what they about to get themselves into, you heard me?
Yeah, speaking on that last one first, look, if you really sincere about your brand, whether you trying to be in entertainment or any type of endeavor, you just want to be sure within yourself that you're not gonna waste your time. We're not worrying about nobody else. We talking about you. You're not gonna procrastinate. You're not gonna second guess yourself. You got to be 100% sure. Like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what been on my mind. I dream about this. I think about this. Let me put it into effect. And like I say, don't. It's gonna be a lonely walk. Friends gonna laugh at you. People gonna talk about you. None of that really matters. It's just a test to see where you really want to be. When they get down to the married people or the boyfriends and girlfriends, when the spouse be like, I don't know, that's when it's going. That's when the rubber gonna hit the road. When you really gonna see what you made of. And I had to go through that. I still go through that. That I don't think this is it. You spinning your wheel. No, I'm not spinning my wheel. I'm just moving in a way that nobody else moved before. And I'm getting to this place the way in this step, my way. It's not a right or wrong way to do what you want to do. You just have to figure out if you want to do it. And the ways that you go about it, because there's certain ways in everything. Some people just open the gate and they boom. Some people take their time and they build and they build and they build. So, it's not going to happen overnight, but you just have to make sure that it's what you want. It's not, and it's your name and it's your business. So you don't want it to be played with. So you don't want to play with it yourself. So you gotta have to respect the game and respect it and say, I want to put this forward and I want to really step on the gas. And if you're scared to step on the gas, just don't hit the brakes. Just cruise a little bit until you get knowledge. Find out, do a little research on what you're getting into. Go walk around the city, see how many other people doing what you're doing. Try to find out what they're doing. Like, hey, they doing this, they doing that. Well, maybe so many people are saturated. Like I say, when I started doing t-shirts, the only person that was doing shirts was 10 Ward Buck. And he had a nice silhouette of the city on his shirt. But I just happened to have the real print when I started doing this. So it was a real picture of the project. So that was my niche. That was my hood apparel. That's what it stood for. It was my hood apparel. That was it. That's how I was representing the hood. And later I made it mean what I made it mean as it came to me. But don't never second guess yourself. Hit the ground running with it and don't procrastinate. That's the main thing. If you could stay focused and positive on it, that'll be the one thing. But and I ain't saying be ignorant or be disrespectful to people, but just, take what they say with a grain of salt and you just keep it pushing. And some things you could chew on and some things you got to spit out, but you just got to keep on moving forward and don't let that take away from you. Now, give me one of them other pointers, big brother. I know I was talking on that one because that was the last one.
Let them know where they could find the apparel, you heard me? Let them know where we could check out the podcast, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, the
take us out.
podcast, I haven't, like I said, I just got set up in this little spot. So I haven't actually set up a date, but if you just stay focused on Walter Dillon on Facebook or Hood Apparel on Instagram, I'll put some dates and stuff like that. I did drop like a little tag just saying that the times in life of Walter Dillon or something like that is coming soon. But because I had to kind of shuffle around and I'm really just getting settled, so now I could kind of get my time. So maybe starting next week, you just be looking for a podcast. If you're looking for something with Hood Apparel and gear for right now, just go to Instagram. Or you can catch me at 210-249-1026. That's my phone number. I've had the number for years. Everybody in San Antonio got it. Everybody in New Orleans got it. It's a local business number, so I accept calls and texts. No crazy stuff, y'all. Yeah, just hit me up. And I'd be happy to send you what I got. The website I do have, for whatever reason, I got my Shopify. It ain't kicked in because I'm switching it from GoDaddy to Shopify. and something ain't meeting in the middle, I'm waiting on to see what that's gonna be. But other than that, just hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. Facebook is Walter Dillon. Instagram is Hood Apparel, and we could chop it up from there, man. I'm looking forward to chopping it up again, man. I really thank P.NUT for sticking with me, man, because he was like, "You ready, brother? You ready?" Like, give me. I'm like, oh, I just did this. He like, "You ready? We're gonna run it." I'm like, you know what? Let's run it, man. No hesitation. Let's just get out here and get it in, and that's what it's about, man. So I appreciate you. Salute to the general, man, for keeping us on our toes. You know what I'm saying?
You already know. I don't really know you that personally, but I know where you come from and I know what you built. I know that's not an easy thing to do. So since I've been following you, I've been studying, you know what I'm saying, trying to get the game. I'm trying to come up with my own clothing line as well. So you're an inspiration to a lot of us, you know what I'm saying? So I may not be a YN, but to you I am, you see what I'm saying? So you're an inspiration, you heard me? You like, man, we could really do this independently, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you really can. You really can. Not to cut you off, I apologize, but you really can.
Go ahead.
Now, I was just saying, you really can. Is the steps, the back end steps are the easiest, and because in our culture they don't give us this information, and then we don't know about it, and then we don't read to know about it because we don't know about it. So it's like, well, how am I gonna get it from? Who gonna tell me about the tax control? Who gonna tell me about tax ID? Who gonna tell me about EIN? Who actually in my hood right now talking about a DBA, doing business as a business account? There ain't nobody not talking that stuff to us, so we don't know. We really don't know. Nobody don't know if you take your regular paycheck and put into your business account, that's going to help you have business credit because it's showing that you have a constant money going into that account. But guess what? I'm just finding that out so I can tell it to you quickly. I ain't got to make you wait for it. I'm just going to tell it to you now so you can know. You see what I'm saying? But that's all. It's just information and knowledge, man.
And share too. Don't just because you get it. You got to do something.
I refuse to hold information from somebody in fear that they might get further than me. Boy, I want you to go and take off. I want you to get up there. I want you. So yeah, man. Whatever you need help with, man. Like if you got a design, and I'm telling you, I ain't trying to get your stuff and then like I'm running off. But nah, I know better than that. God gonna handle me a different way if I mess over you, especially if you sincerely coming to me. So that's why I just give freely, dude.
That's a fact, man. Man, I appreciate you. Like I said, can't wait for the you know what I'm saying, the gift. I appreciate you for that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I salute you. You're a real OG. You do what OG is supposed to do. You got the knowledge. You spreading it. And you really trying to build generational wealth where we at, you heard me? And I respect it. I appreciate it. And you know what I'm saying? Come back, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna run it again. You heard me, you already knew. But until then,
next time I run it, I have more visuals for y'all to see, what we got going on. But man, it's been an honor, man, to even be, called to do what you have me to do. So I really appreciate it, big homie. You really showing us how it goes.
Say you dropped a lot of gems on here too. I hope they paying attention. They probably sleep right now.
We can run them back anytime. Somebody didn't. I talk fast and I might have jumped over a few, but anytime that they hit us up in the comments and repeat this or I'll definitely give you the skinny on anything you need to know.
That's a fact. You heard me. But until then, you heard me. It's P.NUT the General. P.NUT of the podcast. You keep your body clean, man. Yeah. Right. Shout out to your OG. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, man. One.
It's P.NUT the General. P.NUT of the podcast. You keep your body clean, man. Yeah.
Are you really comfortable with all of that thing? What you trying to say? Do what you do, baby. Yeah, I want to graduate. I seen to come up through the mud. You feel me?
Real
I'm saying, like I said, I used to be top. I'm one of the ones. When that nigga said he had a phone, his whole joke, man, I'm looking at the screen like preach, cause I was on the phone with him. You feel me? So you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that he getting up there and he keeping it all the way phone. He ain't what them little niggas be saying. He ain't cloud chase. He ain't capping. He ain't doing none of that. Like, he ain't trying to make himself look. You know, he let his legacy speak. I like that shit. Like, let your legacy.